stop worrying about Kirk at that employment agency. I really wanted to stay there with him. He wouldn't hear of it.
You really don't think he'll manage, do you?
Well, not after this illness and his impaired memory. They ask so many questions at places like that, education, background.
Yeah. It could really be difficult. Well, I suppose the only thing he can really do is be honest.
I know honesty is the best policy in most things, but in this case, I told him not to be too honest. Well, he'll never have a chance. You know how some people are.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. It's really a shame.
And it's very unfair, because Kirk is really intelligent. You can see that right away. But with this impaired memory, he comes off as someone who doesn't have much to offer.
Well, let's see. He could become an apprentice or go to a school and learn a trade.
It would be wonderful if we didn't need the money right away. He wants a job so badly. I just hope this interview doesn't discourage him. It's one of the reasons I wanted to be there with him.
You might have been able to explain the situation.
Which is just what he didn't want me to do. It can be so difficult, stubborn sometimes.
So can I. I'm sure you can, too. Lord knows my husband was.
Oh, that might be Kirk.
Huh? Hello?
Emily Michaels, please.
Kirk, is that you?
Yes.
This is April Scott. I can hardly hear you.
Your wife is here. She's been worrying about you for almost an hour.
I'm sorry.
Oh, listen, I've got an idea.
Why don't you come on up here and have a cup of coffee and tell us everything that happened? You're very close, and I certainly would like to meet you.
I'm sorry. I'm just not feeling very well, especially after that interview I took.
Oh, doesn't sound as if it went too well. Look, I think I'll let you talk to your wife.
Thanks. Hi. What happened?
Look, I hope your friend doesn't think I'm terribly rude, but I just don't feel like meeting anybody new. Not after meeting Mr. Finchley.
But did he give you a hard time?
Yeah. Made me sound like I was crazy for taking up his time.
Oh, Kirk. Well, did you have to tell him about your being ill recently?
Yeah, and I told him, and when he heard that, he shriveled up like a match. And then he asked me if I had a criminal record. Emily, maybe I had to just forget about getting a job. Oh, listen to me. I'm beginning to sound terribly sorry for myself, and it's boring.
Look, why don't you come up here just for a little while, please?
No, Emily, no, I think I'd just rather go home.
Yeah, of course, I understand. Look, I'll leave here now, and I'll meet you on that corner that we had planned on.
Okay, I'll wait for you here.
And don't worry about anything. We'll figure out another way for you to get a job, and to heck with Mr. Finchley, okay? Bye-bye.
It didn't go very well, after all, huh?
Afraid not.
Very sorry. And what are you going to do now?
I don't know. Guess it's my turn to go look for a job.
Do you have any idea what you'd like to do?
No, my credentials aren't any better than Kirk's. I've never had a job before.
Oh, wait a second. You did manage your father's household, didn't you?
No, not really. We had this terrific housekeeper, Molly Sherwood. Oh, poor Molly. She's unemployed now, too. Yeah, at least she has a few dollars to get her through till she finds another place. But wait, I did do something at home. I took care of my father's practice.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Now that not only is experience, it happens to be very marketable.
Yeah. You know, I was thinking about applying for a job in a hospital or a clinic or something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look, I really have to go. Kirk's going to be waiting.
Yeah, I'm really sorry that Kirk didn't come up here, but I just want you to know that I do understand.
Well, maybe we could get you to come out to the house in Oakdale sometime.
Oh, no, I don't think so, but thank you.
I really would like you to meet Kirk.
I will sometime. Listen, you just live in that house and you love it as much as I did, and that's all that really matters.
I really do love it. And I have you to thank for it. You've really been very good to me. I've never had a friend.
Well, you do now.
Thanks.
People are always more important than places or things anyway. And I'm sure that house is important and beautiful to you because it's the place where you and your husband can share your happiness.
Yeah, it really is. You know, this place is beautiful, too. It's just magnificent. Although I don't know how you could live here alone. I really do have to say goodbye.
Okay, listen, give my regards to Kirk, and don't worry, everything's gonna work out.
Thanks. Bye-bye now.
Bye. Yeah, it is lonely.
What I can't understand is why didn't Draper Scott make a copy of that letter that he got from Raven?
Well, it wasn't even a legal document, Cliff. It didn't have any significance for Draper or April after Jamie left their home.
Now, once they turned Jamie over to me, the letter was meaningless. Didn't become important again until Raven decided to fly back from London.
But that's not the point. You see, I always make a habit of making a copy of everything. You know, letters, laundry bills, old Valentines.
So that's why you spend so much time at the copying machine.
Better buy stock in the company.
I didn't know you minded. It's just a damn shame that we don't have that letter. If we did, I could clinch this custody case.
Well, we don't have it, Cliff, so we have to manage without it.
Yes. Well, we do have another avenue of attack.
Yeah, what's that?
You changed your mind about calling April Scott to testify.
You're in luck. My mind's been changed. I had a couple of women working on me about that very subject.
Who worked on you?
Well, April mostly, but Geraldine too. They pointed out it was silly of me to risk losing custody of my son simply to spare April the ordeal of testifying.
Well, it's about time. For a while there, I thought you were going to be really stupid about this, boss.
Well, thank you, Cliff.
Don't take it personal. Most men get really stupid when they get around beautiful women.
Oh, really? Even you?
Especially him. Anyway, that's good news, Logan. All we have to do now is get this case into court as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I wish Judge Lewis would take some action on this.
I sincerely hope this isn't the only case on your desk. It's hardly going to make you rich and famous. Emphasis on the rich.
Money isn't everything. And it is not the only case on my desk. See this? We just got this yesterday. Did you tell him about it, Mike?
No, it's not going to be as pleasant as getting back your baby, Logan. Some of the relatives who had families in the Grand Falls train wreck are suing the railroad.
I heard about that, so you're handling the claims.
A few of them. But I have mixed emotions about it. Brings back memories of Draper. This is the file that Cliff put together for me on the Grand Falls accident.
That is the toughest assignment I've ever had. Some of those photos were gruesome.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'm not looking forward to going through them.
I'm sure you're not. What about the families? You think they have a legitimate claim against the company?
I honestly don't know, Logan. We're in the process of gathering evidence. I'm going to talk to some engineers to see if the accident could have been avoided by the railroad.
It's sad, but I don't think they have a case. I mean, they're going to rule it an act of God or nature on the rampage.
Well, it's going to be difficult to assess accountability. But in the interests of a few heartbroken clients, we'll do our best. Anyway, Do we have anything else on our agenda here?
The only thing that I can see is asking April to write out an affidavit about the letter she received from Raven.
Yeah, we'll need that.
You know, we could call your wife and force her to testify at this custody hearing.
What for? She'd only lie. I can tell you what she'd say right now. The letter only gave April and Draper permission to care for Jamie while she was traveling in Europe. Only temporary, nothing permanent.
I'm afraid it's going to be her word against ours.
Exactly.
Yes, but I could break her down on the stand.
She's been watching too many Perry Mason reruns. You couldn't crack Raven. She's made of tempered steel.
But I could penetrate that steel, and when I was done, you would have that kid. You'd be up to your neck in oatmeal and baby powder before you knew it.
Well, Duke, I'll just have to take your word on that. Anybody for lunch?
You know, this is a business meeting. We could all go to lunch and then put it on the company account.
Whose company?
What about you, Mike? You free?
No, I have a lunch date.
Well, if it's Nancy, we could make it a foursome.
No, it's a client. Nancy has a lunch date of her own.
I see. Well, another time. I'll be in touch. What do you like on your hamburgers?
And here we are, back again.
Hey, well, thanks for showing me around. Never been in a newspaper office before.
Well, it's a bit different than most people think. No reporters running around shouting, stop the presses.
Yeah, it's surprisingly quiet. I expected lots of rushing around of people and roaring of machinery. That's
Well, as you saw, the machinery is in the basement, and the rushing around starts usually about an hour before the deadline. Then the panic sets in, but somehow we do manage to get the paper out.
Sounds like an exciting job.
Oh, it is. It is very often. I imagine the same as show business is.
Well, I can't really say since I'm not in show business yet. Guess the closest I've come so far are doing those puppet things for Mrs. Saxon. But I'm working now, and I'm happy with that job. 2 points.
Kelly, are you in contact much with Mr. Dorn over at the Unicorn?
Hardly see him at all, except last night. Afraid he saw me and didn't like it very much.
Why, what do you mean?
Well, I took one of my puppets with me to work. I was fooling around with it at the bar, and all these people started coming over and really getting into it and watching my puppet routine. But Mr. Dorn, he got annoyed.
Well, that isn't what you were hired to do.
I know, but everybody liked it. And I still think the puppets would make a great addition to the Unicorn.
You are really anxious to get your career started, aren't you? But I can understand, because you do only have the summer.
Why do you say that?
Well, I assume that you're going to be going to college this fall. Have you decided where you want to go, Europe, or do you want to stay here in the States?
Aunt Nancy, I'm not going to school at all.
You're not?
No. And I'm not going back to Rome either. I plan to stay right here in Monticello. Permanently. Don't misunderstand me, Aunt Nancy. I don't plan on mooching off of you and Uncle Mike forever. I just hope to stay with you until I can afford a place of my own.
Well, this is something of a surprise, Kelly. I mean, you never even hinted that this was your intention.
Sorry, I guess we never really discussed it yet, have we?
I think we did a little bit, and your uncle and I got the distinct impression that you weren't here for a summer holiday.
Mom and Dad are going to be living in Rome for 4 or 5 years. I don't want that.
I'm sure you discussed this with them.
Yeah, we've discussed it.
And how do they feel?
Well, I wouldn't exactly say that they're happy, but they understand.
Kelly, are you sure? Look, dear, I can see why they can understand that you don't want to spend so long in Italy, but my goodness, not to continue your education at all.
Look, Aunt Nancy, I want to work, and I've got to be independent.
Good. Wonderful. I'm so glad to hear that. And the best way to be independent is to get as much education as you can. All right, I know. It's just very ordinary advice, but it's very true.
And I wouldn't expect you to say anything else.
Kelly, I know my brother. He not only had a good college education, he did postgraduate work, and he was just sensational. He was terrific, and he wouldn't be the success he is today if he hadn't.
I know that. But Dad is an architect. And an architect goes to college to learn things from books. I'm going to be in show business.
Oh, I see. And you feel that that would give you the excuse to get away from all that drudgery?
Well, you're upset, and I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that at all.
No, Kelly, please, dear boy, I care about you. And I want you to do the thing that's going to be best for your future. You're my nephew.
Yeah, and you and Uncle Mike have both. You've both been great to me.
Kelly, are you sure you haven't quarreled with your parents?
No, we didn't quarrel. Now, we did have a disagreement, but there was no fight.
And you won't go back to Rome?
No, not ever. I can't.
Can't? Not even to visit your mother and dad?
Not even to visit my parents. Now, if they want to see me, they've got to come here to Monticello.
Kelly, why?
I just can't tell you, Aunt Nancy. I'm sorry.
It's cold in here. I'm gonna open up a window and let some more air in.
It's probably just my cold mood.
I think we could do with some lunch. There's some hot soup sound.
Yeah, that'll be all right.
Good, I'll go check and see what's in the cupboard. Honey, do you have a headache?
Yeah, just a slight one.
You want me to get you some aspirin?
No, I don't want any aspirin.
Kirk, please.
Emily, it's just not going to work out. I mean, this job hunting of mine. You know, no matter where I go to apply for a job, I'm still have to going to fill out an application. And I can't answer any of the questions, fill in any of the blanks except my name.
Well, we know now that employment agency was a bad idea.
Emily, even if I answer a help wanted ad, I still have to know certain things about myself. I don't even have a social security number.
Oh, my gosh, that's right. I never thought of that. Well, look, I can get you the number. I'll just call the Social Security office.
Maybe I ought to apply for disability insurance, welfare.
No. Now, you want to work, and I know you'll be a good, hard worker if someone gives you the chance.
But the only jobs I'm qualified for are unskilled labor.
Now, that's not true.
Emily, but don't worry. I mean, even those jobs are hard to come by. I mean, it's just as hard to get a job digging ditches as it is to work in a bank because of the unions and the restrictions and all.
You know, that's just the kind of job you should have, working in a bank in some kind of training program. Or what about the idea we had about a law office?
Well, whatever. I know the one thing I'm not going to do is go back to Monticello. Not now.
I agree with you. I think it's much too crowded and pushy and noisy and competitive there. I think you need a nice, quiet place to work.
Yeah, like in a morgue.
Well, I don't know where, but there must be jobs available in Oakdale. We just have to find them.
But I'm sure in Oakdale they're not going to pay very much.
I'm going to be working too, Kirk. Remember, we're going to have 2 salaries here.
What about the house payments?
Don't worry about it. No, even if they're late, April will understand. Look, it's the best thing that's happened to us is not only having this lovely house, but having a friend in April Scott.
Hello.
Hi, this is Logan. How are you this morning?
Oh, good morning. I'm fine.
Well, I just called to thank you again for the wonderful evening the other night.
Oh, I think you already did thank me.
Also, I got your invitation for tonight. I will be there with bells on, and one other little thing has come up. Now, I don't know how interested you are in baseball, but I got a couple of tickets for the game this Saturday, and I thought you might like an afternoon in the sunshine with hot dogs and yelling.
Well, I'm not a pro, but I love baseball, and I'll bring my glove.
Well, that's fine. You don't have to be a pro because I'm an expert. I can tell you anything you need to know. These are terrific tickets, too. They're right on the 50-yard line.
I think that's football.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's okay. I'm an expert at football, too. Played center forward for the varsity. My slap shot was legendary. Anyhow, sounds like fun to me. What do you say?
Well, we still have a problem with the babysitter.
No, you don't. The tickets I got are from your babysitter for this Saturday, Mrs. Geraldine Saxon.
Well, in that case, how can I possibly refuse?
You can't. I'll pick you up at noon. I'll bring the babysitter with me.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
So am I. And I will see you tonight.
Good.
Bye-bye.
Oh, my God.
What, is something wrong?
I just came across this.
Wait. This is Draper Scott, isn't it?
What was left of him. And Sergeant Dwyer.
I told you these photos are pretty grisly.
Yeah. 2 dead bodies. Handcuffed together.
Sure, I'm glad you're handling that part of the case, Mike.
Cliff, I don't even know if there is a case. I won't know that until I have a chance to go through all this material.
Well, now you know what I had to go through when I had to sift through all those police photos.
You know, there's something odd about this picture. I can't figure out what it is.
Oh, well, when you do, let me know, all right? I've seen enough of those photos for one day. I'll go back to my office.
Okay. There is something wrong here. Something very wrong.